What's going on? It's been a long time. I'm Jalal Wilson. This is a Short Man Only podcast. And I wanted to come on today and tell you why I gave up on Short Man and what I'm going to do about it now. I do want to start off by saying that the name will be changed from Short Man Only podcast, but that's another topic. Anyway, so if you've noticed, I've been MIA from this channel for a very long time. Sporadically, I'll upload a video here or do a podcast. Actually, I haven't done a podcast in a long time, almost since about last August, maybe, or September. Maybe September. But anyway, I wanted to kind of tell you what happened to me during that time period. There's three things that kind of hit me. The first thing is during that time period when I was putting out all that content, I was going through a major depression. Now, it was a depression that I've never really experienced before in my life, which is rightfully so. I had never moved from my hometown to a whole nother state. This was the first time I've ever done something like that. And I had to during that process, I was getting acclimated to being in this new state. And being in this new state, things weren't going exactly the way I planned. I ended up taking a few jobs that ended up paying me like 1/3 of what I used to make in Seattle. And that was demoralizing. Doing more work for 1/3 the pay. And it was hard on me emotionally, mentally. I have a family, and so I was feeling like at that time period I was an absolute failure. That is kind of how I felt. So when I was putting out this content, you know, trying to using my creativity as a way to kind of push through it, it wasn't working. I started to feel like I was being unauthentic, even though when I'm looking back at it, I wasn't. But that came with with the thing number two. I just felt guilt. I felt guilt or shame, feeling like I'm not exactly where I want to be. Who am I to sit here and encourage short men? Who am I to tell short men they could do better, be more, they could meet the woman of their dreams. They can live the life that they deserve. Who was I to tell them that while I was sitting back struggling in my own life in a way that I had never struggled before? And it was an interesting thing because in my mind, I kept telling myself, I'm unworthy. But I didn't realize at that moment that what I was doing was something that was exactly what I preached. Like I said, I picked up and decided, hey, South Carolina would be a better place for me and my family than where I came from. I knew I was going to have to separate to elevate. But when I got here, the elevation didn't look exactly like what I thought it would look. And so then I questioned whether I was on the right path. But I was. But in those moments when I'm creating all this content, I didn't see it. I could not see the path. And because I couldn't see the path, I started feeling guilty, like I'm lying about everything that I was saying about what you will experience and how you can grow from your everything. Felt like I was lying because I couldn't see the path in my own life. So it made me feel a sense of guilt, a sense of shame that I shouldn't be talking to short men, that I shouldn't be telling them anything, really. That is kind of, if I'm being honest, that's how I felt. Like I shouldn't be saying anything, even though I have done everything that I was talking about. I understood how to build confidence as a short man because I did it. I also understood how, I just understand short men because I'm short and I understand, some of the things we've been through, and I understand that everything we've been through can be a teacher or a lesson if we allow it to be. I understood all those things. But yet, I still, every time I picked up the mic, I still felt this sense of guilt and shame. And that led to the third thing. When I used to tell people, oh, what do you do? Oh, I have a podcast for short men. People laughed at me. People looked at me strange. And, you know, most people that were tall just didn't get it. Like, why is this a thing? They should just get over their height. Um, do you really think this is how you should be spending your time? And I thought to myself, and I started getting discouraged. Like, am I wrong? Is this not the group that I should be serving? Is there a better group that I should be serving? Maybe I need to look more into seeing if there's another group that I should be serving instead of this one that I'm passionate about serving. Because I know there's some amazing short dudes out there that just don't believe in themselves. But I was telling myself that, after getting feedback, that maybe I should be I'm barking up the wrong tree. Maybe I need to look up a new tree. So it started, I started having doubts. I started having doubts about my direction and what I was doing. Because it was just, not like what everybody else is doing. And, you mix those things with the guilt. You mix those things with the depression. And it was a recipe for me to just say, I quit. And so that's what I did. I still wrote a book for short men about dating because I believe that's something I can help short men do also. But as soon as I started running into hiccups with getting the book edited, I had somebody flake on the time frame they were supposed to edit it. I had another person try to essentially cheat me out of money for editing it. I had another person edit it in a way that was completely unusable because they tried to strip the whole thing of my voice. And so I just was running into a roadblock with it, and I'm just like, okay, maybe I should be focused on something else. Maybe there's another thing I should be doing. So I'm taking this as a sign that these are not the things that I shouldn't be focused on short men. That I should just let this go. Let this be a hobby I have that I do in my spare time. But I gotta find that thing that when I walk into a room, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." I gotta find what that is. And so I'm telling myself all these stories and all these things. And then it brought me. I got to the point where I started thinking about it. It's still been on my heart. It's still been on my mind. I had a situation with my son. He was trying out for soccer. He had tried out for football, and the coach told him he was too short, and that he could be the manager. And so he rolls around, and he decides to, time goes by, and he decides to play soccer. And the same coach told him the same thing. He's too short. He should be a manager. And I remember him getting in the car that day, kind of feeling down and defeated. I remember thinking to myself, how many other boys and short men feel this way? And his coach didn't tell him the truth. The truth was he was not skilled enough to play soccer. He had never played organized soccer before in his life. He had never once practiced soccer really around the house. So he really didn't have the skills, because there's not a sport that a short man hasn't competed in and been able to do okay if he was skilled at it. He just wasn't skilled. But instead of telling him he's not skilled, the coach attacked what was obvious, what would be the most obvious to my son, his height. And so as much as I tried to run from this topic, I can't. I would love to. I would have loved to, but I can't, because it is something that constantly touches my life in some way. I remember seeing a meme the other day about this is how short men get a stool or cook dinner, and this short dude was sitting on the counter. It had 10,000 shares, And I looked at in the comments, it's short men making fun of themselves. Like, to me, that is not something you do if you have confidence in you. Why would you be a part of the joke about you? It doesn't compute to me. It just doesn't. And so I decided that I have to move forward with this. I've planned for how it should go. Part of that is going to be a name change. Part of that is going to be putting some other pieces into this to, make this really something that I can be proud of and short men can be proud of that they are participating in. Now, there's a few things that I felt like I need to put out there. I know I can help short men build confidence. And why is that? Because I know what it's like to lack confidence, and I know the steps we can take to build confidence. But it's a journey. It just doesn't happen overnight. And I understand you. I understand short men because, like I said, I'm a short dude. So I understand it. What I didn't understand the first time I tried this was anytime you start something new or try something new, you will have disruption in your life in other areas. You will have some type of disruption in your life when you try something new. And you'll have all these other opportunities that may be good to do, but they won't be right for you. And that's where I found myself at. I didn't understand that at first. But that is kind of like the universe's way of seeing if you really want something is by throwing a little disruption your way to see if you'll keep going regardless of the disruption. And I didn't understand that principle, but I understand it now. And the last thing I would say is doing this, putting this podcast back out, even jumping on the mic today, is the most emotionally challenging thing that I could do for myself because it requires the most out of me. And I want you to think about your own life. Like, what is the most emotionally challenging thing you should do today? You could do today. You could do this week. You could do this month. And why is this important? Because that is one of the ways you build this confidence muscle is by doing hard crap. If you're only used to doing the easiest things in life, then you're going to have more suffering in your life. But if you're willing to do the hard things in life, your life will be much easier to navigate. Now, that's that Jim Rohn's quote. It goes, if you want life to be easy, you have to do what is hard. If you want life to be hard, you have to do what is easy. It was easy for me to shut down the camera and keep on with my life and working on building something else up. That was easy. This is hard. But I'm here, and I'm asking for your forgiveness and to give me another chance at this. Because, like I said, I know I can help, and I know I care about short men, and I want to be the one to help us get to the place that we need to be so that we can live lives that we are proud of instead of lives we want to shy away from. All right, I'm Jalal Wilson, and I'm out. Thank you for watching. And if you're not subscribed already, subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. It only takes 2 seconds. And let me know in the comments if you forgive me. I hope you do. All right.